authority or public positions on some of these issues. Otherwise, if you have a case in court and you are appointed, it's a criminal case and you are appointed into office, and that's not an issue, that's no problem. If you go to the judiciary, present a case, the judiciary can still come and swear in the people, no matter what the outcome of that case will be. So we have arrived where we were going. Let's sit back and just enjoy the ride.
This was a destination.
A lawless destination where the law becomes irrelevant in what we do. And that's a dangerous destination.
Okay, let me just hear from Churchill Suba.
You know, Dibal, the sum total of what Dr. Low is saying is that impunity, because I even saw some of the comments being attributed to the leaderships, especially on the front page of the Nation. The word impunity is always on their lips, yet they practice it. They accuse the others of impunity, yet that's what they practice. Because impunity is not just about what is lawful or unlawful. It is also doing something irrespective of what the public opinion is. And you know that the public has generally been for issues to do with the cost of living. Yet the president can proceed and appoint such number of people into government that outnumbers even the positions that are provided for in the Constitution. Those of us who are privileged to be part of the constitution-making process and who deliberately and after serious considerations chose to limit the number of cabinet ministers to slightly over 20, in fact 22, realize that is more or less the number, the maximum, the optimum number that the country would need to execute some of the different development facets that we may think of as a society. Yet we have a position that does not exist, but which has been sanctioned by the judiciary and kind of established by the judiciary, because precedents become part of our law, and which outnumber more than double the number of ministries that are contemplated in the Constitution. So I agree with Dr. Martin that lies sell, and Kenyans seem to like liars. It's something that started from when we attained independence, when Kenyans rejected the freedom fighters and opted for the home guards. I think what we are seeing is a continuation of that mentality. But what shocks me is also the impunity that accompanies the statements that leaders make. That this government during the campaigns, Kenya Kwanza told us, and everybody who cared to listen, that it is not Kenya Kwanza is not about positions. Now we are seeing the president rushing to beat the courts in establishing positions. Yet Kenya Kwanza was not about positions. The question is whether Kenyans have taken note of this. You remember, Kenya Kwanza was not about positions. It's the other side that was pro-BBI, that was portrayed as, clamoring for positions. Yet, it's this government that was opposed to some of the positions that were being promoted under the BBI, that was the first to establish an office called Prime Cabinet Secretary. And more recently, we witnessed other positions related to that. Office of the spouse of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Now, if these newly appointed CSS are the second in command after the Cabinet Secretaries, I will not be surprised if the 50 plus of them also establish Office of the Spouses of Cabinet Administrative Secretaries. Yet Kenya Kwanza was not about positions. Now, these contradictions do not seem to make sense, to some of us, and as civil society will continue to speak truth to power, to hold them to account. It does not help matters that some of the people that have been appointed, will not add value. I saw quite a mismatch of even the appointments. I thought that somebody like, Wilson Sosion, who served for a long time as Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, would be put under, education, because there would be some value add if he was under education. But, the appointments are there to reward. It has nothing to do with the expertise that people bring on board. And so these positions are purely political. We have seen in the recent past, again, colossal amounts of money being allocated to consumption. Yet this government, led by William Ruto himself, told us that the Kenya Kwanza government is not going to fund consumption. Now, consumption is not just about ugali and sukuma wiki. Consumption is spending public resources on motor vehicles, on their fuel, on staff, and other benefits that come with positions that are being created. That is consumption. Now, promises made before elections aside, more promises have been made after the swearing in of the new government, and they are being violated with impunity. And so when I get concerned as civil society actor, when I watch, people in government have even the audacity and the temerity to talk about impunity, yet that is what they practice. We are going to cut cost, we are not going to fund consumption, yet, allocate so much resources for motor vehicles, for offices of spouses of prime cabinet secretaries. And as I've said, I will not be surprised if we have offices of spouses of cabinet administrative secretaries, 50 plus one of them, in the next few days.
So those who expect the Kenyan government to actually implement austerity measures to cut wastage, it's just they don't understand the relationship of the government of Kenya and its citizens. It's a parasitic relationship, and it has been there since independence. You see, if you look at the U.S., the president of the United States, he pays for his food in the White House. He also pays rent because he has a salary. Okay? Here, our turn to eat literally means like that, means that turn to eat. So you can't expect a government founded on a philosophy of parasitic against the citizens to actually not fund consumption, because consumption is parasitic in behavior, and that is the philosophy of the Kenyan government since its foundation. It sees itself as an entity that must feed on you, the citizen.
Mali ya umma.
Mali ya umma. And that is the idea. So that philosophy, unless it's dismantled, don't expect it to change, because they can't change. It's culture.
Why should it be dismantled if it's working?
Exactly.
If it's working. If we can reward and if we can give people offices so that they can be loyal to us, if we can intimidate you into towing our line so that we can reward you, why should we change that? But more importantly, Suba, I wanted to say this, that the position appointments to chief administrative secretaries have nothing to do with merit, have nothing to do with professionalism. Similarly, appointments to health have nothing, or to cabinet secretaries have nothing to do with professionalism. That's why in health you don't have a professional there who is the CS. Neither do you have any of those people who you can say are congruent to what they are doing. That's why you can have somebody in defense who, in all purposes, doesn't think that this country needs to be defended against anything. So, the point I'm making is that the chief administrative secretaries are not positions about competence and merit. These are political pointsmen and women, and therefore Sosion is not there because he's an educationist. No. All he needs to do now is to have fuel, have 2 cars, have security, and do politics 24/7. Because what else will 4 chief administrative secretaries be doing in a ministry? That's not where their destination is. The destination is go back to your village, go back to your county, hammer politics at our expense. We pay for you, your fuel, we have a fat salary for you. We pick a siasa. And your siasa is not impartial, it's partisan. You go there, put on yellow, and talk. So those cabinet secretaries, chief administrative secretary, have nothing to do with assisting cabinet secretaries, and they have nothing to do with productivity. Those are appointments. I expect that Nicholas Gumbo will be busy in Nyanza saying, you see, now we are in government. And others will be saying, now you see, we are in government. And on that note, Dr. Kirui, karibu sana, but it's the business of this man to welcome you. Yeah, welcome you. So, I told them that we have arrived where we're going, where lies are the order of the day, where deceit is the order of the day, where fakeness, and everybody's fake. You tell us you're our savior, but when we check around, you're actually loading it on us. So, we're a country of counterfeits.
But the issue though is the country inability to produce a sensitive individual who can feel the pain of the citizens, sensitive leaders. We have never been able to produce a Nyerere. We can't produce a Captain Sankara. We are unable to produce a Mandela. So what we produce, we turned our culture upside down. The people with the sufficient humanity, the Njaramog type, okay? Those people, we don't see them because we have a different culture. And as long as we are not able to be sensitive enough to feel the pain of the citizens as leaders, as long as we can't produce those kind of leaders, then we will still stay in ground zero. We will never take off.
All right. So before I rope in Dr. Kirui, I find it very intriguing as well, just as the People Daily is putting it, that we'll have a night meeting where the president had information that the court will stop swearing in of the CSs. So his team moved with speed to gazette names first at night and finish the ceremony by morning. Because I think even the ceremony, everyone just woke up and it was such a surprise that they're being sworn in early in the morning. First of all, this issue of moving fast to beat the courts, since now there's a battle between what is happening with the government and the courts. Every move that is being made, there's someone who's going to move to the courts to actually try and stop it. From the senators, we know, first of all, also there's a move that one of the senators is moving to challenge also this appointment of the CSs. We have another one right now. I just want us to unpack it a bit for us. Why would they be doing this under the covers if they know it's okay and they've been given the thumbs up by the courts?
You see, Dibal, we need to go back to a bit of not so long ago, when President Uhuru Kenyatta and Ruto then appointed the first chief administrative secretaries. The court said that those positions were illegal. Did they serve the full term? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Now, when this President Ruto wanted to have the chief administrative secretaries, did he try to fix the issue? Yes, he tried. He went to ask the Public Service Commission to actually create those positions in public. Now, the Public Service Commission created 23 positions and asked him to fill those 23 positions. Even after he tried to sanitize, he still went ahead and appointed 50.
27 more.
27 more than 23 that were appointed.
Impunity incorporated.
Then after that, somebody has gone to court, and then and of course, let's also agree. I agree that he did not have to take these positions to the National Assembly because there's nowhere in the Constitution where these positions are created and therefore subjected to vetting.
Yes.
So there's nothing. So he didn't have to take it there. But that he took it there, and he realized that some people have gone to court, and there's a likelihood of the court pronouncing itself, swear them in. After you sworn them in, these people went to ask that they should not be sworn in. Now they have been sworn in. That prayer is already overtaken by events. And then, even after that, if you tell this government that these positions, the 27 positions, are illegal, what will they do? They will ignore you and proceed for the rest of the term. So, once sworn in, let's expect them to be delivering for the next, not delivering, to be in office for the next while. So, what are we saying? We are saying this, and we are seeing it, and I don't know why we are not reading the signs. That today, if you steal and you are in good books, even the DPP will withdraw your charges if at all you are charged. But whether you are a thief or not, or whether you have stolen or not, and you are not in good books, you are likely to be taken to court. You know, as they say. Now, what are we saying? We are saying that we have, again, I've said we have arrived where anarchy rules, deceit rules, patronage clientelism rules. Because when you look at most of the people who are getting into office today, surely somebody who has done 2 terms as a governor, what is it that you are giving them a job for? There are so many youth here. I was going to say Suba here, but Suba has been in civil society for too long, so he doesn't need a job. But there are so many youths around here who would need jobs. Why are we not creating opportunities for them? Why are we recycling? Why are we going for people who have had service? We've seen people who are in their 70s, they have done everything they needed to do, they are retired, they are on pension, we're giving them jobs. What are we really doing? But that's us. I want to say that is our scenario.
I think this country lost in direction in 2013.
Yeah, can I just let me rope in Dr. Kirui, because all I'm seeing, first of all, we want to use for subject this morning, this political